Would you come up front and share your testimony for the November communion? 우리 빌이 William Lawson, right? William Lawson. Okay. William Lawson is full name. 우리에게 쉐어링 하실 겁니다. Last month, October에 하나님 주신 은혜를 우리 성찬 시간을 통해서 5 minutes, the grace God gave him through the last month, October, he will share with us for 5 minutes. Thank you, Bill.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So this month that ended, I'm going to tell you what happened ending and then go what led me towards it. For a long time, I have been, over the last maybe say 5 to 7 years or so, it's very difficult for me to ask God to be able to show me the world through His eyes. Let me hear the world through His ears. Let me feel the world through my heart. I did that about 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. I went through a lot of painful process in doing that when asking Him. So I brought up the courage this month again to now ask Him again to let me see the world through your eyes. Let me hear it and let me feel it. So that's what I went back to this month. But I'm going to take you back to what led me back here. When I was, the first time I actually really got hurt from my parents, or from, I should say, from my dad, was when I was younger. I was probably about, maybe about 12, 13, 14. We had a good relationship, but mom and dad had very turmoil relationships. So basically, he left. He just disappeared. There was no bye. He was gone in the night. That was it. So I didn't see him for another 8, 9 years after that. That hurt my heart because I was close. So I promised myself when I was an adult, when I was going to have kids, that I would never, ever leave my kids. I said, I'm never going to do that to my kids, what he did to me. So in doing so, I got married, I had kids, I got 3 wonderful kids. Maybe a little bit further into, I think about 7, 8 years old, we had problems, basically, me and my ex-wife. So at that particular time, she understood where my hurt, because she was actually the one, 8, 9 years later, was the one that tracked him down for me, and we found him in Delaware. So she understood the pain that I went through. So now that we're not getting along, what is the worst way to hurt me is to make sure that I can't see my kids. So to get back at me, because she knew that's what I wanted the most, was not to do. So I went through 15 years of very, very hard turmoil. Having a situation where I would call for my kids don't want to see me, kids cursing me, kids doing all kinds of stuff because of situations with divorce. So heart broke, everything's torn up. So one of the things that, going through that for 15 years, God always says He never gives you too much that you can't handle, nothing that you can handle. But so if He finds that you need something, He supplies that for you. So the course of that, I have 3 kids that were taken from me. In the course of some little church, Jamboree Church, and now here, I've seen, how many kids have I actually pretty much seen and raised? You know, from some of them, from Jamboree, and now I'm here. So how many kids did He give me back that I couldn't raise my own, to see them being raised at 7, 8 years old, all the way up, and now they're in high school, they're in college, they have jobs, and they all still say, Mr. Bill, Teacher Bill. So He gave me what I needed to get through the learning process of what I needed to learn. So About 10 years ago, I asked God, I said, we were at Summerlin Church at the time, and we were doing the trustees, we were going to YWAM, we were doing all that type of stuff. And we learned basically to ask God, I want to see the world through your eyes, things like that. So I really earnestly prayed for that. So the problems that we were going through with the kids, in praying that, God showed me, and he basically told me this. He said, do you see when you call your kids every day, they don't want to talk to you? They curse you. They yell at you. They disrespect you. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want anything to do with you. Do you see how your heart hurts? I said, yes. He says, that's how my heart hurts when all my kids in the world don't want to pray to me, don't want to talk to me, don't want to say that I'm your father. That's what I feel every day with all my kids. All my heart is broke because of them cursing me, saying I'm not God, I'm not this. Jesus is not that. That's how my heart breaks. So you asked me how my heart feels. I showed you how my heart feels. So a lot of things that you're going through in life, even before you know, because see now God is there in the beginning of time, right now, present, and future. He knows everything. He's always there. So a lot of things that you may be going through in life, a lot of issues that you may be having, a lot of circumstances, problems, or issues of heartaches, maybe God preparing you for a situation of understanding how he feels, understanding what he needs to do with you in your life. So when you decide finally to be able to follow God, when you decide finally that you want to give your life to him, you want to give your heart, and you want to be able to understand what he wants you to do, maybe you'll realize all the heartbreaks, all the trials, temptations that you went through in life was for you to understand him, for you to understand how much he loves you, and you can't have those relationships. So in doing that, for 10 years, I never asked God to let me see through your eyes, let me hear through your ears. I said, no, I don't want to go through that again. I got scared. I stayed away from God on that aspect. I don't want to follow. I was speaking to the pastor about 2 weeks ago and said, I don't want to end up in Africa somewhere because that's where you want to send me. So I was scared to ask him again. So this month, I brought myself finally to say, okay, I'm going to ask you again. I'm going to ask you, let me see through your eyes. Amen. Let me hear, through your ears, and let me feel through your heart. Amen. Today, I prayed a little differently. And I said, can you, at this time though, show me, since you showed me your heart break, can you now show me how happy you are with all your kids that came back? Mm-hmm. Can you show me how excited you are with the world that's turning and everybody's going and the angels singing, everybody's singing, the church is singing to you? Can you show me that one this time? Instead of the heartbreak, So, but the whole point of the matter is, when you ask God or you earnestly pray for God for something, he's going to basically give you if you keep praying with your heart and your spirit, he's listening to you and he's going to explain to you and he's going to talk to you. And so I just want y'all to understand that it took me a long time, 10 years, to get back to a point to ask him again because I was scared to go through that hurt again. So I'm just saying that, you have to still want to be with him. You still want to have that relationship, no matter whether you're going to go through that harder pain or suffering. But right now, we're going through a very nice time right now, positive time, positive experience compared to what we were going through. So I'm hoping that now he's going to show me something that's great. Show me that how happy he is. So.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. Wonderful share. 여러분 다 들으셨죠? 예, 제가 이렇게 들으면서 어떤 느낌을 가졌냐면, 제가 국민학교 6학년 때 저희 교회에 무어 목사님이라고 미국에서 목사님이 오셔서 부흥회를 하셨어요. 그때 저희 교회 한 집사님이 영어 선생님이셨는데 그 목사님의 그 설교를 통역하시는 거를 이렇게 제가 국락 때 보면서 입이 벌어졌어요. 하나님, 나도 저렇게 하면 안 될까요? 근데 제가 그런 필링을 다시 느꼈어요. 지금 빌이 이렇게 쉐어링 테스팅문이 하는 테스트문이 하는데 하나님, 내가 그냥 막 지금 같이 막 이렇게 인터프리트 했으면 좋겠다 하는 마음 느낄 정도로 굉장한 그 테스트문을 오늘 해주셨어요. 이해하시죠?
네.
네. 정말 지나간 그 아픔이 오히려 하나님의 마음을 깨달을 수 있는 그 기회가 됐고, 이제 그게 지금 겁나가지고 이제는 하나님, no, I'm not gonna ask you, see through your eyes, hear through your ears, no. 근데 지금 이제 바뀌었다. I wanna see your present. 아이들이 돌아오고, 아이들이 기뻐하고, 아이들이 찬양하는 모습 보고 싶다라고 마음이 바뀌었어, 생각이 바뀌었어요. 굉장한, it's a really big turnaround in your thinking. God is always blessing your life. I remember 빌이 저에게 그랬어요. 자기가 I don't want to end up my life in Ghana, somewhere in Africa. 그래서 제가 그랬어요. Don't worry, God knows you better than you do. You know yourself. 절대 하나님이 가나를 안 보낸다. God never gonna send you to Ghana. 그러니까 그냥 trust in God, 하나님을 믿어라. 그건 네 마음속에 있는 그 소원을 하나님 이미 벌써 아셔서 네가 생각하는 그 위치보다 더 좋은 데로 인도해 주실 것이다. God always leads your life to a better place than you never ever thought about it. 그게 저거든요. 제가 하나님 앞에 헌신했을 때 정말 어디로 갈지 모르고 저랑 아내랑 그랬어요. 하나님, 조지아도 가고요. 뭐 뉴멕시코로 가라면 가고요. 그랬더니 하나님 어디를 보내셨어요? 체리힐. 네, 체리힐로. 저희 아내가 그러더라고요. 가보죠. 체리힐 그러니까 가보죠. 그러더라고요. 하나님이 저 뉴멕시코, 뭐 피닉스 그래도 갔었어야 돼요. 저희. 네, 갔었어야 돼요. 근데 하나님이 우리 마음을 아시고, 아이고 주택모사 피닉스 갔다가 나가 떨어진다. 쟤 안 된다. 그리고 하나님이 어디로 보내셨어요? 체리힐. 그러니까 하나님은 God always knows us better than we thought we know ourselves.
Amen.
우리가 우리를 안다고 생각하는 그 이상으로 하나님은 already He knows us because He's creator. 하나님은 창조자이기 때문에 하나님 우리를 조성하셨기 때문에 He already knows that. 그래서 우리는 하나님 앞에 그냥 진실되게 마음을 드리면서 just trust in God. 하나님을 신뢰만 하면 하나님이 인도해 주십니다. 우리 빌도 이제 through our kids in our church, you will see the how God pleases. 그게 기도 제목으로 I'll receive it as your prayer list. 하나님께 기다리는 기도 제목을 제가 삼고 저도 기도하겠습니다. I really appreciate. Thank you so much for your wonderful sharing this month.